Hello, you may well have seen video of Rachel Reeves crying in the House of Commons chamber, and a lot of people are saying, well, who cares? You deserve it, whatever it is. Glad you're upset, because that's how you've made us feel over the last year or so. And I understand totally that perspective. I have to say, on a purely human and humane level, I do not like to see someone that distressed. And distressed she looks. Let's actually take a look, just a quick snippet. I'm going to play this for long because I don't want to linger on it, because genuinely I don't think this is it's nice to do so, because I think what we're seeing here is someone who, she's kind of trying to fight off the tears. She doesn't appear to want to, wipe her face, wipe those tears away. And she's trying to just get on with things. But she does look troubled, but she also looks exhausted. Whatever has happened to cause this, maybe it's just a series of events over time. It's not just the straw that's broken the camel's back. Of course, it's all the weight of things on top of her up until this point. I want to talk about that. There is a rumour, apparently, that it could be the Speaker, Lindsay Hoyle, who had some sort of altercation with her. But you wouldn't expect an altercation with someone who you probably had discussions and altercations with before to cause her to be like that. And I don't think we have to be Einstein to figure out that probably, again, this is someone who is still under a huge amount of pressure, and that maybe it's just the pressure that's gotten to her. Maybe the altercation had nothing to do with this, but even if it was the altercation, this looks a little bit like an overreaction, wouldn't you say? And she just looks exhausted, done in, broken, almost. Why might that be the case? Well, I made a video recently about moral leaders and the need to have moral leadership. One of the things that I talked about is that we need individuals to step up when they notice that things are not right. Things are not ethical, they're not moral, they're not decent, they're not honest. And the mindset of the leadership team is more to control rather than to serve. But even when a leader steps up to the plate to say that, to speak up, to put their head above the parapet, they need to build a bit of a coalition. They need to have other people join in and say, hey, yeah, you know what, you're absolutely right. Let's change this. In other words, it takes more than one person, but one person can be the triggering event that creates that cascade, and then things can reach a critical mass, and you've changed the culture. I think Rachel has been in the opposite culture. She very possibly, whatever you think of her fiscally as a Chancellor, she very, very possibly came in to that role a little bit naive, or a big bit naive. You see, Labour, what had they done in terms of planning? Nothing, it would seem. Nothing. Wasted the years in opposition. Came in with half-baked ideas, didn't read the room, didn't appear to have a clue what they were doing. But that means that some people in that party, an enclave somewhere, whatever group it was, thought that these decisions they were making were okay. Maybe Rachel did, maybe she didn't. If she did think they were okay, perhaps, again, because she was naive. If she didn't think they were okay, perhaps she was persuaded. I cannot help but get the feeling that this is someone who's been not only out of their depth financially, but also out of the depth in terms of the waters they were actually swimming in, where there are a lot of sharks. And if you think about it, I mean, what normal, decent, honest person would think, yeah, let's freeze the pensioners? And Rachel herself, her mum was a WASPI woman, and she'd seen her colleagues posing with them. We'll take care of you. It'll be fine. Don't worry. How must that have felt to her? And those things begin to erode your soul after time. If you have any sense of integrity, decency, morality, ethics, They get to you. And of course, we had the farmers, so the tradition of families and the familial passing on of the estate, whatever you want to call it. We had the hammering of businesses, national insurance contributions, and of course, many of these decisions were made after the population and businesses being told it will be okay, we're not going to do that, and then we do that. And a lot of that went on with the Labour Party, the fishermen, and of course children in schools. A drop in the ocean, in terms of the state education sector, a drop in the ocean, but thousands and thousands and thousands of children upended, probably traumatized, their lives, certainly at this point in time, very difficult, perhaps even destroyed. And those families were the ones who couldn't actually afford it. But what did they think? They thought, well, we'll put our kids somewhere kind of decent because we look around and we want to give them the best start in life, and the state education system is broken. So let's punish them. And anybody with half an ounce of empathy would look at that and think, this isn't right. And I wonder if that's Rachel. I wonder if she's one of the people who's gone in, not only naive, but actually quite decent. Remember how proud she was, how happy she was, the first female Chancellor. And I did say at the time, I don't agree with a lot of stuff you're doing, but I'm happy you're happy. That's good. It is important. It's great to see. But how bittersweet that must have been. Bittersweet about being a Chancellor and having to do that with the WASPI women and the farmers and business and the pensioners and what else? The children. I mean, the list does go on. The economy is not in a great state. But then what did they do in the middle of that? Not too long ago, they floated this stupid, ridiculous idea. Let's give her a nickname. The Iron Chancellor or whatever it was. I mean, I knew the game was up when, it was pretty much obviously up already, but definitely up when they floated that idea. Didn't last long, did it? And then what might that have done for her? Perhaps they were saying that for her. Keep on going, Rachel. Yeah, Iron Chancellor. You've got to do this. It's for the greater good. Even though maybe Rachel was thinking, it doesn't look like we're doing this for the greater good. It looks like we're doing it for the wrong reasons and we're harming a lot of the population. So how's it for the greater good? And that sort of thing, as I've said, it can eat away at your soul. It can destroy you. And so even if this was an argument with the speaker, even if that's what it was, if something else is going on, I think we're looking at someone who really, really, really has been wrung dry. She's very little left to give. And she came in with such high hopes, and she came in, first female Chancellor, feeling really good about things, and it's been one catastrophe after another. And yes, that must be in part because she's just not been thinking about the job in the right way, lack of experience or whatever. But my contention is that in many ways, she's probably been led like a lamb to potentially the ultimate slaughter in terms of her job. Who's led her? And who are the sharks who are around her who've been saying, just one more thing, Rachel. I know it's uncomfortable, but do that. You're the Iron Chancellor. Keep on going. People will respect you in years to come. And just her conscience, her intuition was saying, this is wrong. This is wrong. And she's carried that way and practiced self-delusion and listened to those whispering in her ears, pouring the honey in, telling her what they wanted her to hear. But she just kind of knew when you're living with that type of internal struggle, the energy that it uses up, when you know at your core that this government have been wrong. They have been badly wrong and led, well, what was it that used to be said? Led by donkeys, led by a donkey, led by I don't know what. But someone who appears to not be looking after his team. Oh, you care. Got enough empathy to look at that woman and realise she's broken? What are you going to do about that? You big enough to admit your mistake and say, yep, I was part of that. And quite a few of us were. So, Rachel doesn't walk away. Totally innocent, of course. But I come back to moral leadership requires a moral system. And I strongly suspect that this woman has been naive and surrounded by people who she thought were on her side. But in actual fact, oh no, they weren't. The side that they are on is their own.